Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing Elves and Silent Night. So, before I head into my reviews of both Elves and Silent Night, I am definitely going to do my best to stay away from spoilers in regards to these two items. One is a TV show and one is a movie. I'm going to definitely try and steer clear away from spoilers as best I can, but yeah, if you are concerned about just anything that might seem like a spoiler, especially in regards to Silent Night specifically, let me get that out there, yeah, you might want to stay clear of this review and maybe come back at a later point. But yeah, let's get going. I recently consumed both Elves and Silent Night. Both are what I guess would be considered horror Christmas, which is just so bizarre. I'm someone who doesn't really do a lot with horror, so I was kind of amused that I happened to watch two things that are within the horror genre, if you will. But yeah, they're both Christmas themed, which is fantastic, and I gotta say, I definitely would recommend both of these if you are in the mood for something holiday themed. And yeah, I think they're both very different for the Christmas genre, if you will, because I think we're all very familiar with watching our traditional classic Christmas things, you know what I mean? Things that are really happy and jolly and pleasant, and yeah, sometimes you're just looking for something a little different and little unique, you know. And if you're like me and you're just really craving something unique within the Christmas genre, I definitely recommend Elves and Silent Night. You know, give those a try, check them out, see if you like them. They might become new favorites for you. So yeah, I'm gonna get going with these. I'm gonna start with Elves first, or in the original Danish, it's called Nisir, I think is how it's pronounced. So yeah, let's get started with Elves, you guys. So yeah, just reading off my quick synopsis that I wrote down here. I stole it from IMDb. Elves is a 6-episode Danish series on Netflix following a family on Christmas vacation where they discover an ancient menace stalking their island getaway. that kind of just got me right there, you guys. I love this. This was great. It's not going to be for everybody. Let me kind of throw that out there. A lot of the reviews for Elves are very kind of 50-50. There's the reviews that are just really highly rated and people are like, oh wow, I love this, this was so great. And then you have like the opposite end of the spectrum, and the reviews just like are way down here. People who just absolutely hated this, thought it was a waste of time, just were so irritated with it. So yeah, it's kind of hard to figure out how to recommend Elves, because I am personally in the group of people who really enjoyed it. But yeah, you may be someone, just kind of depending on your preferences, this may be just the thing, like, oh Laura, this is just god-awful, I don't want to watch it. So yeah, Elves, you guys, like I keep saying, I actually really liked it. I was pleasantly surprised with it. I kind of primarily wanted to check it out because I knew it was going to be from Denmark, a Denmark production. It was going to be in Danish, so yeah, I definitely recommend the subtitles. Yeah, and I knew that it had something to do with like elves. It was going to have a Christmas theme to it, and I was like, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. It sounds cute. Let me tell you guys, take away the word cute in regards to Elves, because I think the trailers were almost a little bit misleading, because I thought this was going to be a show like for kids, for families. No. Let me tell you, do not, if you have a Netflix account and you have children, don't stick in Elves and think, oh, this looks like a cute thing I can show my kids and my family. No. No. This is definitely within the horror genre, and it's fairly gruesome. It's fairly gruesome. There is a nice little bit of amount of cursing in there, a bit of bloodshed, a little bit of gore. Now, yeah, nothing is ever to the point that it's overly descriptive or overly gruesome, but still, I don't want to recommend this for like little kids. You know, definitely not for little kids. If you have like a preteen, a teenager, I think it would definitely be more fitting. They would definitely be able to handle something more like that. But yeah, I was pretty blown away by how gruesome the show was, and how kind of terrifying it was. There were genuinely some moments that I was like, oh, I'm a little scared, Never to the point that I like covered my eyes. I was never that scared, because I kind of started realizing, yeah, it's not that type of horror that it's going to be really bloody and gory and like descriptive, because it was never overly descriptive with the bloodiness. You know, a lot of times it led you more to the imagination, but still it had plenty of little scares in there to kind of get me a little frightened and holding my breath and whatnot, like what's going to happen here, are they going to make it out, you know? So yeah, what I got from Elves, I do feel like there was actually a nice decent amount of commentary in there, because what I kind of found the show to be about is, because this family, they're going on their Christmas vacation. They're going to this island getaway that they kind of found out about, and once they get to this island, it has like a really small population, and the people on the island they seem very strange and bizarre, like they're hiding some sort of secret, and you do definitely find out what that secret is, because without getting into too many spoilers, I guess, but what you do eventually find out is that there's like this big huge fence around certain sections of the island, and what they're trying to keep within this fence are the elves. So I definitely found there to be a lot of interesting commentary in this show, weirdly enough, because I think it had a lot to do and say about nature, the environment, and yeah, the fact that the people on this island were enclosing all of these elves into like a really tight, restricted area. And yeah, you eventually find out that, yeah, the elves, this was their island at some point. They used to dominate this island, but here comes in the human invaders, if you will, inflicting their own will on the poor elves, you know. Well, at the same time, it's like you kind of understand why, because yeah, these elves, they're not like the cute little Christmas Santa elves that you might be thinking. These are wild and crazy, aggressive, brutal elves. They're more like these wood looking creatures. They very much look like the environment, which is very woody and leafy, you know. The elves definitely have a very wood, bark-like appearance, and they're absolutely terrifying. I loved the creature effects, the creature design of the elves in this. You definitely could get the idea that this show had a very limited budget, because the elves were often not shown that much. A lot of times they would be focused on at a distance, but I do think a lot of it was practical effects. You know, I think there was very minimal effects going on. I think a lot of it was very practical. I think it was people actually in suits, it looked like to me. But yeah, I did definitely think the creature design of the elves was pretty great and fantastic, because definitely not the image I had in my head, you know, kind of prior to going into this, because I think I was expecting like cute little elves, you know, but they're not. Now there is one cute little elf, kind of the main little elf in the show that the main girl Josephine gets attached to, because yeah, when the family first arrives to the island, they get into a little minor accident. They hit something, but they're not sure what they hit. You do find out in that very first episode they did hit a baby elf, and this elf is the one that the main girl Josephine, she's a teenager that she takes care of, and she wants to help and whatnot. And yeah, the little baby elf is very cute. He is definitely very, very cute. He's not Baby Yoda cute. I think the design of the little baby elf, they were definitely trying to go for that Baby Yoda kind of look, you know, with a really cute face and the big ears and the big eyes, you know. They were definitely trying to go for that effect. But he's very, very cute. But yeah, I did really like the show, what it was trying to say. I think it was definitely trying to say stuff, especially in regards to nature, the environment, humanity taking over an area. You know, especially just the way we treat our environment. You know, we sit and just cut down just whole batches of land and trees, and in the meantime, where are the birds going? Where are the squirrels going? Where are the raccoons going? You know, where are all these poor animals going to live? And then there they are, just roadkill. You know, there they are, roadkill on the road because they were trying to flee. You know, they're trying to find a new home, a new environment. You know, and yeah, that's kind of, I definitely was kind of feeling that as I was watching this show. You know, the elves, you know, kind of being that metaphor for how we treat our environment, how we treat nature, you know, how we treat animals. You know, this is their home. You know, so yeah, I liked the show, you guys. And there's a bonus: the episodes are only 30 minutes apiece. Yay! So it's a very quick, easy binge, because I was able to get it done, I think, in 2 days. So yeah, once again, if you're looking for something very different and unique for a Christmas related show, I definitely recommend Elves. I found it fun and entertaining. Kind of just enough horror elements in there to kind of really, you know, kind of get me in there, like, oh, I'm scared, you know. Yeah, the main little elf is cute. Now, yes, the family is definitely pretty irritating, I will admit, because they're kind of just coming into this all ignorant and naive, not sure what the hell's going on. Let's just put it this way: all the humans, all the people are kind of stupid. They're all kind of stupid and idiotic, but it's like, you know, you gotta root for them and hope that they get out of this alive. You know, you don't want them to get AIDS. I certainly didn't want them to get AIDS and die. But yeah, has anybody else seen Elves, and what did you think about it? Because I'm very curious if you were the type of person who loved it or hated it. As you can see, I quite enjoyed it. So moving on to Silent Night, and looking at my plot synopsis that I wrote down. Once again, I stole this from IMDb too. The movie is an hour and a half long, and it's on AMC Plus. It was both on AMC Plus it did come out in theaters. I'm not really sure how many theaters it came out at, but it's definitely kind of easier to find through AMC Plus. Yeah, starring Keira Knightley and Matthew Good, just a dream team right there, you guys. Ooh, just too much sexiness right there. It follows a group of friends and their families as they try to celebrate their final Christmas before a deadly poisonous cloud kills them all. And yeah, I'm going to stop right there really quickly, and once again, especially in regards to this movie, if you really do not want any ounce of spoilers, stay away. Like I said, I'm not going to have specific spoilers in this review, but little things that I might say might come across as a spoiler. And I definitely think Silent Night is the type of movie you need to go in the least you know, the better. But yeah, if you do want to stick around for this review, feel free to come listen to me. So yeah, you guys, Silent Night is definitely within the horror comedy genre, and I freaking loved this movie, you guys. Kind of the same thing with Elves. The reviews for this are very 50-50 as well. There's the people like me who just really freaking loved it, found it just rather brilliant. I don't know if that's too strong a word. And then yeah, the people on the opposite end just no, they did not like this. They found it really dull and stupid. But yeah, I freaking love this movie. I'm so glad I got around to watching it, especially here around the holiday season. It just kind of fits, you know. And as I said, our main group of characters, it's all a bunch of friends and then their family. They're all coming to the main character's home, which is Keira Knightley and Matthew Good. Their home. They're holding what's going to be their final Christmas. And as I said, there's this mysterious cloud coming. What is this cloud? All we kind of pretty much know is that it's a very deadly cloud and it's going to kill everybody. But what is the cause of this cloud? Where did it come from? If I'm remembering the trailer correctly, the trailer kind of gives you an idea what the cloud is, but the movie says something differently from the trailer, if I'm kind of getting that correct there, because I think the trailer wanted you to think it was something, but the movie, it's actually kind of something else compared to what the trailer says. Like I said, if I'm remembering the trailer correctly, the whole movie, what I loved about this movie, there's just a lot of mystery to it, because yeah, what is this cloud? Is everybody seriously going to die by the end of this movie? And I loved the fact that this was a very extremely dark comedy. It's very bleak, it's very dark, and it's using humor as this means of trying to get through all that darkness and humor, because what else can these characters do? You know, this is their coping mechanism. It's kind of your way of coping as well while you're watching the movie, because it's like you know, because they're saying they're going to die, you're sitting there thinking, oh god, they are going to all die, you know, so you're kind of feeling that too, like, oh, they're all going to die, this is sad and depressing. And yeah, here's all this comedy to kind of help alleviate kind of some of that pressure, I think. And I do have to give a warning here, because even though the movie is a comedy, it is super hilarious. The thing is, as I said, it is very dark and bleak, and once you do kind of reach a certain point in this movie, you know, there's kind of really no going back. And I definitely would not recommend this movie if you're someone who is very easily prone to depression, I guess, especially here around the holidays, because they always say around the holidays, you know, people who are already depressed, the holidays are just the worst time for people like that. So yeah, if you are easily prone to depression, if you have issues with holidays, this is definitely not the type of movie for you. I definitely recommend you stay clear away from it, because it's definitely going to make you feel a certain way. I'm someone, I consider myself that I'm not like a very depressed person. I consider myself like moderately depressed, I guess. I think we're all moderately depressed. Aren't we all moderately depressed? Let's kind of put it that way. But yeah, I don't consider myself to be someone severely depressed. And even me watching this movie, it kind of reaches a certain point that I was kind of feeling a certain way, like sometimes it was getting a little too dark and a little too bleak for me, that it was making me feel really, really sad. But yeah, seriously, a very high disclaimer, do not watch this if you are someone, or if you know someone who is severely depressed, because it's definitely not a good movie to watch. And let's kind of move on to some of the commentary with this movie in particular. Once again, I'm trying to stay away from spoilers as best I can, but I do kind of just want to talk about it because it's part of the review, I guess. But as far as like some commentary, what this movie is about, I think at the end of the day, it has a lot to do with government and politics, and the fact that sometimes we can be like sheep. You know what I mean? We can be like sheep that our government tells us to do whatever, you know, they say something, we have to follow it, and we're just blindly following it, you know, we blindly follow our government, we blindly follow our politics, but is that bad at the end of the day, you know? Because the main thing going on in this movie, because the whole world knows that this big deadly gas or poison or cloud or whatever it is, they all know that this is coming. You know, it's coming, everyone's gonna die, and as part of this big, huge, like, propaganda, it almost seems like, the government has issued these red pills that you can take them and you're essentially committing suicide. That way you can avoid pain and suffering before the cloud hits, because the cloud, it will affect the body a certain way, and you will suffer a very terrible, painful death. But yeah, if you don't want that, take this pill. So it's a government issued pill. And yeah, the movie just has a lot to say about government and politics in very fascinating, interesting ways, because there's certain people who can get the pill, but then there's people who can't get the pill. And at one point in the movie, they do mention like the homeless and illegal immigrants. They can't get the pill, but they're going to suffer. Because everyone's going to die. But yeah, these specific groups of people can't get the pill. They're going to suffer. So the movie just has a lot of really fascinating things to say about government and politics, how we treat groups of people and whatnot, who can get certain benefits, who can't get certain benefits, It's all very, very fascinating. And the movie, it's kind of exploring all this through the lens of dark comedy, and this cloud that's coming to kill everybody. And I do definitely want to give a quick shout out to Roman Griffin Davis, who plays the main little boy in this. That's the son of Keira Knightley and Matthew Goode. Roman Griffin Davis, he absolutely steals this movie, you guys. He has perhaps the best performance in the whole movie. He has some of the best lines of dialogue. He has some of the best, like, just moving, propelling action in regards to the movie. He really stands on his own. I think he's about a preteen. I don't think he's a teenager. Is he? I'm trying to think. I'm not sure how old the actor is, but he's either a preteen or a teenager. And the thing is, I mean, here he is in a movie of seasoned actors, people like Keira Knightley and Matthew Goode, just some incredibly talented actors. And he's there holding his own and really standing against these experienced actors and whatnot. And he really moves you to feel certain things throughout this entire movie, I feel like. And yeah, he absolutely stole the movie for me personally. I absolutely loved Silent Night, you guys. I found a lot to I don't know, enjoy. I don't know if enjoy is a good word because it is a rather dark and bleak movie, but I really found it fascinating because it's one of those movies that you have a lot of theories. You in the movie and you're like, huh. And your brain is just kind of constantly trying to figure out the story, the meaning, the message. What does the final image, the final image that you are left with as the movie closes, that's definitely going to leave people talking and wondering and coming up with all these theories. It's definitely a movie that I would love to have a rewatch of, and like pause on certain areas, because there's like a scene where they're unwrapping some Christmas presents, and instead of having traditional wrapping paper for their Christmas presents, they have like newspaper. And they kind of focus on some of the newspaper a little bit, but the camera kind of pans away very quickly that you can't see some of the details. I would absolutely love to pause on the Christmas presents and look at the paper and see if I can read some of the newspaper, because there's like little things there that you can see that I think would help enhance the world building. And you kind of, speaking of the world building, I think the one negative of this movie is that I would have loved a little bit more world building, because the entire movie is just the house, just these characters. It doesn't really branch out. You don't really know much about the outside world. You don't know too much what's actually going on. You kind of have to trust and rely what the characters are telling you in a sense. So yes, sometimes a lot of the world building is a little vague, and yeah, even though you walk out of this movie and you have a lot of theories and a lot of questions, yeah, because a lot of it is so vague, it is kind of hard to like branch out your own theories, because then you start thinking, oh, well now I have like plot holes in my theory, So I wish that the world building could have been a little bit more, branched out a little bit more, kind of gave you a few more hints and teases and clues. I think that would have been very, very helpful to, especially if you do have particular theories, that way you can branch that out into something more fleshed out and balanced out, I guess. So you guys, that is it for my reviews of both Elves and Silent Night. I definitely recommend both. If you can watch both, watch both. I think for me, if I had to pick one, if I was like, oh, please go watch this, I think my personal favorite is Silent Night. As bleak and depressing as that one is, I could definitely see myself rewatching that quite a number of times. So yeah, you guys, I'm definitely curious your thoughts and feelings on both Elves and Silent Night, if you have watched either of those. Did you love them, hate them? Just have a conversation with me down below. As you can see, I loved both of these. I personally enjoyed both. So yeah, just have a conversation with me. I'd love to talk to you about it. Yeah, just have some fun for Christmas with these particular items. They're definitely a nice way to kind of, you know, still have some holiday cheer for the holidays, but yes, something a little different within the horror genre, if that's kind of your preferred genre and whatnot. So yeah, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.